Alberto Ascari's all-time record, but no driver has ever won the first 5 races of any season. So Mansell today could beat the record start that Senna made last year. And here's Mansell's position on the league table of the most successful drivers in Grand Prix motor racing. Today he could pass Jim Clark's total and is closing rapidly on Jackie Stewart's position as Britain's most successful Grand Prix driver of all time. So with that sense of history, we cross to Imola for round 5 of the Formula One World Championship, and we join James Hunt and Murray Walker.
And you join us here at Imola in absolutely magnificent weather conditions. The temperature is knocking on 30 degrees. The sky is blue and clear. The sun is blazing from it. They are already down there on the grid for round 5 of the 1992 World Championship at this quite superb circuit. A circuit which, unlike many of them, not only has just about every kind of corner, but more importantly has gradients, both uphill and downhill. You are looking now at Ayrton Senna, 3rd on the grid, yet to win a race this year, only 6th in the championship with a mere 4 points, with Nigel Mansell 36 points ahead of him. But there are some interesting observations from the circuit. First of all, this weather, of course, which is very, very demanding, allied to the fact that the circuit surface is very, very smooth indeed, means it is going to be extraordinarily tough on tyres. We wouldn't be at all surprised to see tyre changes from about the 20th lap onwards, and maybe even another tyre change for some of the teams. Watch particularly in this race, I advise you, veteran Michele Alboreto, because he's in the footwork Mugen, which has really come good here at Imola. He's starting 9th on the grid, but even more impressive than that is the fact that he was 2nd fastest to Nigel Mansell in this morning's half-hour warm-up. And his teammate, Aguri Suzuki, starts from 11th, and he was 9th fastest in the warm-up. Now, at the back of the grid is Johnny Herbert. Sadly, his Lotus teammate Mika Hakkinen failed to qualify. They both tried to qualify the old Lotus 102 and had all sorts of problems. But Lotus have made a decision today that Johnny Herbert is going to race the new 107, and he was 10th fastest in that in the warm-up period this morning.
Yes, he was indeed, and that was very encouraging for the Lotus team. They had a lot of problems with their gearbox on the new car on Friday and Saturday. They were trying to run it, as a result of which they were jumping into the old car. And in fact, like many teams, their real problems in qualifying was that they were blowing engines up. They had a mixture problem and were burning pistons. But this has been, Friday and Saturday here, has been as big a carnage of engines as anybody can remember. And that is a reflection on 2 things. One is that this circuit now probably has the longest time in 5th and 6th gears of any of the Grand Prix tracks, down the long straight as they head away from here. And some well over 10 seconds in top gear. And the other thing, of course, the heat contributed. But it also reflects the power race that is going on amongst the engine builders. So we're hoping that that won't happen today, but I can say that is more of a hope than likely to become a reality, because it is exceptionally hot here, and racing cars, as we all know, do get more fragile in all departments as the temperature goes up. Murray was saying also that tyres are marginal, and more than just on wear, there's been a fair number of blistered tyres on Friday and Saturday here, and it would not surprise me that the teams, despite the fact that it's all one make stuff with Goodyear now, there is a choice of compounds, and the teams will be, some of them will be braver than others on just how marginal they want to be and whether they're going to risk blistering tyres. It'll be a job too for the drivers to look after their tyres in the opening laps when the fuel load is heavy. The cars, of course, then remember, they come to the start line over 50% heavier than when they finish because of the big fuel load.
Well, down in the pits here, there's a bit of action around the Benetton of Schumacher. They've had a water leak with that car, and obviously are not too sure where it's come from. But of course, the main issue here is the heat. and with track temperatures at no less than 46 degrees and the air temperature at 30, tyres are going to be the one big factor, I think, here in the race. And what's interesting is that we've got 3 different solutions to the problem. The Williams cars of Mansell and Patrese are both using the softest D compound, a solution that's only shared by the March and the Dallara cars further back. The second solution is the one that we've got from Senna with his McLaren. And he's gone for the harder C compound on the right-hand side with the softer D compound on the left, which leaves Benetton, Ferrari, footwork all on C compound the whole way round. So we'll have to see how they get on.
Yes, and of course the Williams team, with their advantage, have the luxury of being able to nurse their tyres, and of course the active suspension would seem to be easier on the tyre, allow the tyre to work more evenly than on the passive cars. Just returning to the warm-up times this morning, certainly a very impressive performance by Herbert to go 10th in the new car, because it's the first serious running it's had. It kept breaking down with gearbox trouble over the weekend, on Friday and Saturday, but first real run in anger, and most encouraging for the Lotus team. The footwork time of Michele Alboreto certainly was impressive, and they have been most impressive all weekend here, but that actually was a rogue time, because he went out, he had trouble with his race car first thing in the warm-up, jumped in the spare car, and of course it didn't have a full load of fuel. In fact, it was a very light fuel load, so it was a rogue time, but certainly they're going well, and the 9th fastest of Suzuki reflects their real form in this morning's warm-up, which is certainly a team moving up the grid, and they've scored points in the last couple of races as well.